for the longest time that I should have a sit-down series talking to celebrities about religion and about the things that nobody talks about. We could be very pretentious, but we're not very true to ourselves. So I was like, you know what? Let me sit down with someone. And I was wondering, who's the perfect person? So something just rang in my head, BamBam. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to ask BamBam to come through and let's talk about religion. Let's talk a little bit about relationships, not much. About religion, about perception, and about those things nobody else wants to talk to. And I scrolled through my DM. I said, let me send BamBam a message. I sent BamBam a message, and apparently she had sent me a message before. I was like, how did that happen?
Well, I used to follow the sheeple a lot before I went into the house. And I admired a lot of things he talked about because he dared to be different. I mean, I'm a big fan of those people who are pace setters, who go out of their way to say their own truth. We don't have to buy into general truth because it makes sense or because it sits well with us. But as far as I'm concerned, the Christian race is a personal race. So it is your truth that matters. And he shared some interesting views. And in my DM, I was correcting an orientation. I said, I think you should go about it
this way, yeah. So I was like, whoa. I was thinking, and guess what? You sent me that message in November last year.
Yes.
And I was like, that was before. I had to ask, was this before the house? You know, I said, yes, it was before. I was like, nah. Spiritually, this is the perfect person. So, okay, guys, I just wanted to give you, to show you that, look, I'm actually here. Hi. I'm going to hand over the phone to the person who's going to be recording us, and we're moving on from here. All right? Anyway, welcome, BamBam.
Thank you.
It took you a lot to get here. I remember initially the appointment was for 2 o'clock.
I tell you,
then,
everything has been fighting my coming here today.
And Madam mentioned, Madam said, if it's somebody else, she'll have just turned back and said, look, everything. Did you feel like that at any point? That maybe God doesn't want you or the devil doesn't want you?
There had to have been a force trying to prevent me from coming here because I'm a very spiritual person. So I said, Lord, is there a way for me to be here? What's going on? Like literally almost every taxi flight was cancelled. And the last one that eventually came, as in he came and then started his car and he wouldn't just move. I'm like, okay. Tried and tried for almost 30 minutes and I'm like, oh, I just cancel this trip. And eventually the last one was able to bring me here, so I'm here now. That's all that matters.
Another thing that was very important to me is the fact that I wanted to cook for you from Madam's kitchen. And we wanted you to order what you wanted. And you know the problem with our Nigerian food, they're not very fridge friendly, microwave friendly. If you cook them the proper way, if you cook them the fast food way, you pop them in the microwave and do what you want. But I wanted them to pound yam for you. Do you like hand pounded yam?
Yes, I do.
So the problem with pounded yam is you can't pound it and keep it for 2 hours. You have to pound and eat almost immediately. So I was trying to time you to make sure you got here at the right time. So no. It's all good. It's all good. So where do we even start from?
I've been waiting and wondering.
Ask them, guys. You're gonna read responses on the live for me. The audio, speak up. That means you have to draw nearer, come a lot closer. I have 2 very beautiful cameramen.
Very beautiful.
Camera ladies. As in really gorgeous ones. Can they hear clearer now?
Are we audible now? Are people complaining on our end?
Nobody's complaining? Is it okay? Nobody's complaining?
Someone on YouTube said volume please.
Volume please. Okay, they want to hear you, so. Alright, so I wanted to make it as simple as possible. No lights, no elaborate things. But you see, when you're in the presence of a celebrity, it's hard to make anything simple. It's hard to make.
Stop!
It's hard to make.
Me cake and juice. Only me. I'm really grateful. elaborate enough. I don't know how elaborate you wanted it to
Wait till
be.
you see the banga and the head of fish.
Blood of God.
That's when you know what real elaborate is.
Wow.
Um,
I love Banga so.
You love banga?
Oh my
But you're
goodness.
not. Okay, you said your mom.
My mom is Delta.
So she makes banga for you.
Yes, but the thing is, my mom was born and bred in Lagos, so most of my cooking is proper Yoruba, eforiro, the basic stuff, ila sekpo, ewedu, nothing banga, egusi. My mom would do banga like once in a while, but then I was in Warri recently, and Chief Kuku actually graced us with banga and head of fish and pounded yam, and he was divine.
It was divine.
So yes, I fell in love with banga again. I did. I really love banga soup. I love fresh food. So yes.
Yes, and that's what Taste Buds does. Fresh food. Sometimes you call an order for seafood okra and you don't get it because she doesn't keep it in the fridge. She calls and they have to get the seafood of that day to you that day. She just tries to go the extra mile, and that's why sometimes people think the food is expensive. If you buy things from the freezer, it's a lot cheaper, but if you buy fresh from the seed, there's a certain type of taste that it gives you. Now, BamBam, I didn't watch too much of the Big Brother, but I tried to watch all the how do you call them, the flashbacks and as much of it as possible. And I realized that people are very, very hypocritical. I'm sure you're aware of that. There were so many scenes in that Big Brother house that people used against you. In all fairness, I wasn't supporting anyone in Big Brother. I just wanted it to be done with because it was what everybody was watching and nobody had time for anything else. And I supported Miracle because I felt he was going to win, you know. Only for him to come out and I realized that, well, this BamBam girls seems a lot deeper than what was shown to us in the house. I remember, even before I knew you'd sent me a message, there was a time I tried to talk to you through Kayla.
Okay.
When you came to
Yes,
Cool FM,
yes.
but I was supposed to travel and then one way or the other it didn't work out. So I've been trying to get you for a while.
What made you realize I was different?
I just, because you survived the backlash in that house, you know, the whole, I don't really want to break it down, but the whole scene that we saw and, you know, people who didn't know you but were pretending to know you were saying, look, you're a pastor, that's a pastor.
He's not a pastor.
But they were saying, well, you heard the gist
I
that they were
heard
saying
that
he
my
was
father is-
a pastor, you were a pastor's daughter, and blah, 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 blah. And the first thing I said was, we're all guilty. We've all done silly things, or not so silly things, but we've done things that we wouldn't want other people to see us do. But the problem is, we didn't do them in front of 36 million people. Does that make us more righteous? No. I remember when Jesus taught about adultery, because it's a very difficult subject, but we have to teach it. He said, a man can only leave his woman if he catches her in what we translated to us was fornication, but it's actually prostitution, because the Greek word used for what King James translated as fornication was porneia, which clearly means prostitution. And if you look at the verses before and the verses after, he was talking more or less about prostitution. Anyway, he said that if you leave your woman and she marries another, she commits adultery, and you commit adultery. And it seems very righteous for us to say people who are divorced are committing adultery. But that same Jesus said, each time you look at a woman and you lust after her, you have already committed adultery. So whether you are standing in front of 36 million people or you're just looking at Juliet Ibrahim or Tiwa Savage or whoever it is you're looking at lustfully, even though, you see, you can, if I send you a DM, BamBam, I like you, you're hot, let's talk, there's evidence. But if I look at you and lust after you, you can't tell. You'll be amazed how many of your dad's friends or your uncles in the village who you are supposed to be looking up to as uncles.
Uncle, good evening,
Uncle,
sir.
good evening, actually,
You're my daughter.
you understand? And they are as guilty as anyone who goes in to the full act. And that is why, that's the beauty of Jesus. He is not hypocritical. He makes you all realize that, look, you're a sinner. And when you came out of the house, I was like, how's she going to deal with this? Oh my goodness. How did you deal with it?
I was of the same school of thought as you, and I realized that the fact that I was seen and others have not been seen doesn't make any of them any different from me. And yes, because much was expected of me, I felt like I disappointed a few people, but I couldn't take it back. So I felt it has already happened. It has already happened. Can you just...
Let me ask you quickly, did you regret it?
When
Honestly,
I found,
no.
Yes. When I found out that I was seen, I felt very bad. I felt guilty.
When did you find out that you were seen?
The moment I was evicted.
So throughout when you were in the house,
I had no
you were just like the rest of us that would do something bad and just say, hey, nobody saw me.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you see, what happened to you in the house was what happens to everyone. The only problem is
Getting caught.
God is the only one watching the Big Brother live of all of us. This is a Big Brother. The world is a Big Brother. God is watching us. Our shower hours, and He's there. He can see everything and anything.
It's true.
So, like you rightfully said, it doesn't. You were a bit embarrassed. I probably would have been too.
That's very embarrassing.
But I think you guys were serious. It wasn't just a fling. It wasn't like you did that with 2 different people or 3 different people. And you guys are still together.
Yes, we were still.
So, you know, if I really wanted to be honest, I know sometimes my doctrines can be a bit, but I go the extra mile to research the Bible in truth and in spirit. You know, in John chapter 4, Jesus was talking to the woman at the well, and he said, look, there's going to be a time. At that time is actually now. This was 2,000 years ago. He introduced this system. He said that you're not going to worship God in Jerusalem or on this mountain. You're going to worship Him in truth and in spirit. And for you to worship Him, you have to be spiritual. And you have to know the truth. You can't be spiritual without the truth, because the problem with being spiritual is you could be fed all sorts of spiritual things from anything but God. So you've got to be, and how do you know that's why the Bible says test every spirit, so you can know which one is from God. Because you could have a spirit tell you that, look, bring that $1 million, I mean, bring that 100,000 naira, I'm going to give you $1 million, and you think it's God speaking to you. Reference it with the scriptures, then you could tell which is from God and which isn't. So from my years of research, I found out that in all truth and honesty, there is nowhere in the New Testament where a young couple who has steady met your parents.
Not yet, but
Not
yes,
yet.
we've spoken to each other's
Parents. So there's a general know-how that you guys are together. If you want me to be honest with you, the Bible doesn't say it's wrong. At least not Jesus and or the disciples. What they were talking about as fornication was actually prostitution. It was King James. I taught a whole sermon about it. It was King James that brought about the confusion. The word fornication was invented in the 1600s, and it also meant prostitution.
Can you define prostitution?
Prostitution is doing anything in exchange for money or for favors, or even what it is a business deal.
No, I just need this to be out.
Yes, it's a business deal. Like I was saying, that is the definition of prostitution, and we've got to be very careful, because what we're doing is we're encouraging the things that didn't really matter to become issues, and the things that mattered to become non-issues. I'll give you an example. Idolatry. They've snuck idolatry into the house of God. You idolize your pastor, you idolize money. And that was what Jesus fought. Jesus never flogged a young couple for having sex, but he went into a church, into a temple, and flogged the people changing money. And guess what? The money changers are back legally now, doing their business. I released a video today of one Nigerian pastor who said that even if God told him not to sow seeds, he'll tell God not to worry that seeds are. It's on my Instagram page. You know. So moving on from there, you came back and you met this whole celebrity lifestyle. How did you deal?
Truthfully, I think I've mentioned it a few times. I actually still don't have the habit of watching TV. I didn't really follow the show prior to my auditioning for the show.
Tell me, how did you get auditioned for the show?
So I am passionate about all forms of creative expression, singing, acting, painting, anything creative. Once I put my hand to it, I go all the way. So I knew that I wanted to stand out as an actor in Nigeria. And you know the normal drill. Some directors are not straightforward. If they want you for your craft, there are very few. Those who just want to let's get to know each other now.
Yeah.
So that got a bit frustrating, and I knew that I needed a platform like Big Brother to be seen by the right people to do business with and to be invested in, if that makes any sense. So I just auditioned. I auditioned last year with T-Boss's set. I didn't make it through. So
were you disappointed?
Not really. I believe that everything happens for a reason. So at the time, it wasn't just my time, so I didn't take it so hard. I did feel bad, but I got over it. I said I'll try again if given the opportunity. So I went to film school. I stood out as one of the best students they had. I didn't get any award or anything, but I was featured in a few movies. And then Big Brother happened. I auditioned. I went through the normal stages, and I made it into the house. So it so happened the way it did, and I didn't overthink it. I just hoped that I'll stay till the end, possibly win. But when I got to the house and I saw what I was competing against, I'm like, let God's will be done. If I make it through to the end, I'm grateful. If I don't, let God's will be done. At least I've been seen by millions of people. And I came out and I met all that, and I was like, wow. I didn't see it coming. My followership went from 2,000 to, at the time, 24,000. And then I'm almost at 500K plus now. And the fan love, my fans have become family. They are generous, they are kind, they are loyal, they are dedicated to my life. Even if I don't post the right picture, oh, BamBam, I think the other one on your fan page is better than one on your page. Oh, BamBam, I think this is opportunity. I think you should call this. They are invested in my well-being, and I'm so grateful to God for them.
Big shout out to BamBam's fans.
Big shout out to BamBam. Like,
what do you call them? Do you have a special?
BamFam.
BamFam.
Like Bam's family.
Yeah.
So I call them the Bam Fam, and they are amazing. The Bam Teddy Empire, the Alpha Nation, those are Teddy's fans. They are amazing people. They go all out to ensure that myself and Teddy do very well. So I am grateful. I did not see the celebrity life turning out the way it did, but I just thank God.
Now, do you think the influence of the media has affected your relationship? And if it has, is it positive or is it negative? And the fans, the whole love, the plenty things they are doing, has it affected you positively or negatively?
The love has affected me positively. I don't think the media has affected my relationship in any way, because both of us as a pair have to deal with each other as a pair, not the opinion of people about us as a pair.
Very well.
So no, I do not allow the media influence my relationship.
You asked me a question when you came in. Am I a religious or a spiritual person?
Yes, I did.
I'm zero religion. I don't believe in tradition or culture, or it's one of the few things I fight the Catholic Church for. As much as I love a lot of things they do, that whole traditional, let's do things like this, it worries me, because everything's fine until you bring religion. Now, Teddy was supposed to be here. Not really. We just discussed it in passing. What kind of person is he? Spiritual or religious?
He's a spiritual person.
Just like you.
Zero religion. Zit.
How come the Free Nation, Free the Sheeple movement never came up in discussions in the Big Brother house?
That's because at the time we had to ensure that religion or anything was not a topic of discussion. We weren't allowed to talk about politics, religion, or anything that makes you opinionated. Or
Are you serious?
yeah, because the world is watching. You don't want to get people biased about you. You just want them to see you for you, not really about your opinions. per se.
Wait, was this? Did the Big Brother people tell you this, or it was your people said, look, BamBam, when you get to the house, don't do religion, don't.
No, it wasn't my people.
It was them. Okay, so there's like a code of conduct you have to adhere to. Because I wondered that, because around that period there was a lot going on religious wise in that, and nobody talked about it. Okay, now I get a better picture. What are, from your opinion, because what are Teddy's views?
I'd rather he answers those questions himself.
So you
when
have to bring him.
I
What does he
will
like
try.
to eat? What does he like to eat?
He loves anything that has protein. As long as the stew has a lot of meat, the soup has a lot of meat, the rice has a lot of meat. Yes, he loves good food
That has meat.
that has meat.
And Taste Buds is the queen of meat, and she likes seafood too. Does he like seafood?
I'm more of the seafood person.
She asked me a question today, and I guessed on your behalf. She said, BamBam, would she like periwinkle in her banga and prawns?
Yes.
I was like,
I'm
yes.
more of a seafood
So I guessed right. I just knew you'd like food, especially since you said you wanted fish.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to other things. What's your background?
Okay, so I am. My background is Deeper Life. Deeper Life Bible Church.
And you managed to get a liberal dad from Deeper Life.
That's the interesting thing. Yeah. I managed to get a liberal dad from Deeper Life. But daddy is not much of a religious person.
So it's probably
Okay.
mommy.
Mom is more of the religious one.
How did you deal with mommy when you came out of that house?
Dear Lord.
Bami, Celtic, Bami.
It wasn't easy at all. But the thing I'm grateful to God for is that it's nice when your parents know you. You know, when you just have that child, you can see where the child is going. But then you would try to contain the child, try to advise against and all of that. But I really love art. I really love entertainment. I didn't know so much about it because that wasn't part of my upbringing, but I just had a natural flair for it. So I educated myself about it and took advantage of a platform that would make me
bigger.
So, but yeah, they didn't find it funny at first, but then they
Was it like a serial? Was there a sit down? Did they read the Bible to you? Did they tell you you didn't go through all that? You're gonna go to hell now.
no.
You know, when I saw what happened, I just realized that you were a bit unfortunate because most of our parents thought we were virgins until we got married. You know, we were lucky. You know, we got away with. One pastor even bragged about all her children getting married as virgins. I'm like, Then people were sending me DMs. People who knew the kids.
Maybe you never know, they may be.
So you know when you're in the limelight, you're not as fortunate as people who are not in the
I
limelight.
agree. That was what my mom was protecting me against.
Yes. But it is what it is. So back to the Deeper Life. I like the man, Kumui. It's just their doctrines are a bit harsh and they're too religious. That's my problem with it. If you notice, I've never gone on him. I've never really had any issue. He is humble.
Yes.
I might not agree with that. Their doctrines are very harsh. And if you read the book of Colossians, it's very clear. It says, all these things we do that might seem wise because they require endurance and
Yeah.
you know, they don't reduce the evil in us. You know, so
That's a very hard truth. A lot of times we are constructed with doctrines, but then when you start to abide by the doctrines, it doesn't change your nature. So that thing you said about it does not reduce the evil in us is the truth. Because when push comes to shove, a lot of people will react and they'll say, "I'm human."
I'm human.
That's
Yes.
the perfect excuse to get away from that. So
Have you ever had a religious discussion with Teddy?
one time in the house we did, but it wasn't with the mics.
How do you do it without the mics?
No, sometimes you can't shower with the mic on, and then they don't show shower hours. So in the midst of just having your bath, and you just raise some topics, but nothing serious.
Serious.
But yeah.
Did that influence your man? Because I remember a girl dating or going on 2 dates with a guy who now said he was an atheist, and she was like, no. And then another lady was telling me that she was dating a guy who didn't believe in going to church every Sunday, but believed in praying at home and doing good, and it affected their relationship. Was it a point you looked at and made you consider for or against? I don't know if you understand what I'm
I
saying.
get exactly what you mean. Okay, the way I view people,
Yeah.
I connect with people based on their heart. I don't know how I do it. I'm a vibes person.
What star are you?
Taurus,
What day?
23rd of April.
Oh, I'm 6th of May and I'm Taurus.
Oh,
And we're extremely stubborn people. Don't worry, I know. You're stubborn, right?
no comments.
Don't worry.
Maybe, but yeah, he is. So I connected with him because of his heart, not really because of his religious or political views or any of that. But as we've grown to know each other, we definitely have our differences in world views, but it's not enough to make me not care for him or want to be with him.
You know what I said I was going to talk to you about, Colossians 2:21. If you read from 20, it says, "So why do you keep on following the rules of the world, such as don't handle, don't taste, don't touch? Such rules are mere human traditions about things that deteriorate as we use them. These rules may seem wise because they require strong devotion, pious self-denial, and severe bodily discipline, but they provide no help in conquering a person's evil desires."
This what version of the Bible?
New Living Translation.
Interesting.
I can send the verse to you.
Please do.
So the more religious you are, the more you think you have control. But at the end of the day, the control comes spiritually. Is what I try to teach.
How do you advise those who have self-control issues to deal with?
I don't want to sound too spiritual now,
Please go ahead.
but the Bible says self-control is one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. If you walk with the Holy Spirit, you will get self-control. Because he is going to understand you, and he's going to... You see, there are some people who need help. Some people probably need to be in a good marriage or in a good relationship, and he's going to provide the physical things and then give you the power. I'm talking from experience, because there was a time in my life where I was lacking in the self-control department. But the moment I started walking with the Holy Spirit, he started sorting those things out for me. That's why I said it's very spiritual. There was a time in my life when if a girl sent me a DM, my antennas would be up, you know. But these days I can look through DMs and see the ones that you know that these ones want a bit more than free the sheeple. So you just very politely, "Hi, how are you? Okay." By the time you okay them 4 or 5 times, they know where they're supposed to be and they gravitate towards that place, and all is well. I'm in a relationship where My woman can pick up my phone and go through it if she needs to. You know, there's nothing on my phone that she would see that would alarm her or surprise her. My Instagram account is open on her phone. So, why? Because I do a lot of live and sometimes my phone is out. So I just pick up her phone and use the battery and my account is there. You know, so we don't hide anything from each other. And we don't hide anything from each other. Come a little bit closer. We don't hide anything from each other, and that helps a lot. And I'll advise you too. I know it's hard to get guys to that position because there's always what they want to. Oh, this is for me.
You freeze.
Why is she looking here? You know, but tell them. And I was young once, and my blood was hot, and I made many mistakes that I wish I could sit young men down to tell them that, look, when you grow up, you'd regret these things. Your blood is boiling now. You feel like, I think it's the testosterone in our systems that causes that. Anyway, now, do you plan on getting married?
Of course.
How many kids?
3 maximum, please.
Minimum?
2.
Okay, you're not one of those people that, okay, I have a child, 1 is enough for me.
No, please. I love kids.
Boy and girl?
Yes, please. Set of twins first of all, and then maybe twin girls first and a boy later. Twin boys first and a girl later. I'm open to what the Lord wants to give me.
Oh, yes. You like kids.
I do.
I studied a bit of psychology, so I know how to read people a bit. You
Okay,
know.
profile me.
You like kids. The way you lit up.
I love
I can tell you like kids more than food.
I think I do.
Yeah, you liked food. There was that glint. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Then you came back. But the kids lingered. Oh.
I love kids. I love puppies too. Oh, I'm such a
Do you
dog.
have any puppies?
I had one before the Big Brother house.
Then what happened?
You know the thing about dogs, they're very, like, if you leave them for a long time, when you come back, I feel like I would break her heart if I could get her back because I wasn't very settled at the time. But now that I'm settling down, I finally just moved to Lagos.
Where were you
Probably
before?
Abuja.
So you auditioned in Abuja?
I came to
Lagos
Lagos
to audition.
The first one, I did it from Abuja.
Yeah.
But the second one, this last one that I got into the house, I did it
From Lagos.
Yeah.
Do you think there was a
But,
particular vibe with the Lagos that helped influence getting you into the house?
There wasn't. It was going to be tougher getting to the house from Lagos because we're over 8,500 people that auditioned.
And how many people picked 20?
No, from Lagos, probably 5 or 4. It was
And you
God.
made it.
It was God. I can't
It
even
was
explain.
made.
A lot of people have been
you-
asking, how did you do it? It's just God, really.
Do you think a lot of people say that Big Brother is a waste of time and
What?
money and it dumbs people down? You heard that. I'm not sure if you did that. People just sit down and stare at the televisions all day. What's your opinion on that?
The show is a social experiment,
I know.
and they pick different people from different walks of life. They definitely profile us mentally, emotionally. They literally psychoanalyze every one of us during the auditions. So they are very deliberate in their picks. Whether I've heard all sorts, it was paid, some people it was rigged, some people paid this one. I don't know about others, but speaking for myself, I didn't have to go through any of those sleeping with somebody, paying somebody, doing any of all those things that a lot of people say you do before you enter the house. I think it's a huge platform for anybody who knows what they are doing. If you know what you want to bring to the table in the entertainment industry, the Big Brother show is a huge platform for you to be seen by the right people to want to work with you. And I've been privileged by God to have that. And I'm grateful. So I don't think it's a waste of time or any of that, personally.
Now, does it make, if you're in a relationship with someone, does the person feel threatened because you have a lot of male attention now that you probably didn't have? Sorry, I didn't even ask. Let me remind you too. Were you in a relationship before the Big Brother
I
house?
was not.
Were you whining out of a relationship, or were you relationship free for at least a year?
No, not up to a year, a few months. I had just gotten out of one.
Was it a long-term one that went sour?
No, it was like we were friends. We were now trying to see if we could go into a relationship,
And it didn't work.
then I was in this space where I just wanted to know what I was doing with my life. I don't believe that you should go into a relationship if you do not know where you're going in life.
Yeah.
Because then when you're finding yourself while in a relationship, whoever you're with could make or mar those decisions. So I was not in that headspace where I was mentally settled or psychologically settled in regards purpose for me. So that wasn't going to work. So I knew that leaving Abuja for film school was a huge step at first, and then I considered going to the Big Brother house. I was like, my girlfriend, let's just take a chill pill on this one. So it wasn't like I was dating before I went to the house. We're just friends trying to see where we could go.
I'm sure he was heartbroken.
Yeah, he really was.
Did he call you when you came out of the house?
He didn't.
What did you do to me? Why you destroy my life? Because he'll be looking at you in the house and hoping that when you come back, what he would have done is if you had come back single, he'd just left Abuja and run down to Lagos and done PA work for you for a while.
I tell you, but why it was a bit hard was he was a typical Yoruba guy, and
What's a typical Yoruba guy?
they want
Feel
their
free,
women,
we talk.
I know they want their women to not be too exposed. They didn't really volume.
Like
Like,
it's on
yo.
your own side.
Guys.
They're still complaining about volume.
Okay. Well, speaking
Come
about
closer.
him,
That's the closest you can go?
yeah, it would just become too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Speaking from his own point of view, I wasn't sure he was comfortable with me being in the entertainment industry.
Do you want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
I've never said this anywhere. I'm not comfortable with a woman in the entertainment industry. I'm sorry, but I think the exposure is too much.
It is a lot. So a man has to be secure in himself to be with a woman in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And the woman herself has to know what she is doing as well.
Yeah.
Because there are so many theories about women in the entertainment industry. So many.
How many of those theories do you find a bit more than theories?
That's a relative question. I don't know about more than theories. But just not to overflog anything, I just believe that, speaking for myself, I want to be the world's wealthiest and most influential woman. I want to be a blessing. I enjoy acting. I enjoy
The world's
singing.
wealthiest and
And
most
most
influential woman.
I want to be on
love
Forbes.
your choice of words.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to say that. I love the way you put your words together. You have a good command of the English language.
I do. My spelling is horrid.
Luckily for you, you're not writing your letter.
I swear to you.
You have a good command of the English language. I always try to tell my children, don't talk with slangs. If you talk with slangs, you will not have words to express the meanings you're trying to convey.
Yeah.
And I like that about you. I can see you have the right word for the right instance. Most influential and the richest woman is possible. Everything is possible under the sun. But it's a bit ambitious. Aren't you worried?
No, I'm not worried because I believe that everything happens as at when they should happen. I believe in times and seasons. And for God to plant the thought in my heart is not because I want to do it to rub it in anybody's face or just take it as a title and be like, yo, this is who I am. It is for the purpose of being a blessing to those whom He has assigned me to. That is why I am.
And I said you have a good command. You know?
So it's because it's from the angle of purpose. Because if I don't want to bless lives or be able to be an answer to prayer to people, for me to do that, I have to be in a position of influence. Solomon did all he could because he was in a position of influence. So calling it ambitious, I get you, but it is a drive for me to work harder, for me to be able to do.
And I respect that.
To be able to do the needful to get to where I'm going. And by God's grace, a few lives have been touched by even just my character or just by a few things I put out there. My little good deeds here and there that I didn't even recognize as an effort are being seen as blessings because that's in my predominant thought. I want to be a blessing. I want to be a blessing. So I believe by God's grace I attract that to myself. So that's what drives me.
Wow. This is I don't know what to say anymore. If you had called for offering now, I'd have paid.
Please, oh
No,
God.
no, no. You see, you're gonna go far because you know how to talk. You have that gift, and
Is it?
yeah, you have that gift on people, and you know how to convince people, and you're Taurian, so you have the Taurian aura. I have that too. You know.
What is a Taurian aura?
Taurians are leaders. Even when you put them in the follower sphere, they tend to have mini groups where they lead. They're always going to raise a head above everyone else. Someone was telling that if you say you are born again and you're following astronomy, what the Bible doesn't like is you using it to predict the future. But if we remember, the people who came to visit Jesus were astrologers. They were not wise men. They were magicians. The Greek word was magi. And then there was a thin line between medicine, science, magic, and witchcraft. They were all interwoven. All those chemical reactions where you put sodium in water and it bubbles up is they could say it's magic, or witchcraft, so that's the thing. Do you believe in horoscopes and things like that?
I used to read about them a lot one time, but I don't dwell on them. So
What do you dwell on? What does your mind, when you wake up in the morning, what does your mind log into?
Purpose. I swear to you,
I agree.
Breathe.
Purpose.
I meditate a lot and I recite where I see myself going. I'm so happy and grateful now because I am attracting good, great, and wonderful things into my life. Money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I'm the world's wealthiest and most influential woman. I'm a blessing. I am enough. I am strong. I am doing that almost per second. My mind is never idle. I can't just sit down and just zone out. My mind, I don't permit unwanted thoughts.
Do you rest? Do you sleep a lot?
Hardly sleep. But when I close my eyes to sleep, I sleep.
How many hours of sleep do you get in a day?
I know that once I get 4 hours, I wake up. Then, if I don't have anything to do after replying emails or checking DMs or doing all my social media shenanigans and PR work and all of that, and I close my eyes another 2 hours or 30 minutes if I'm not interrupted by a call or something.
So your phone is on all night?
Basically.
Why?
But I don't let my phone disturb my sleep. Once it's night, even if it's 12 midnight or 1 a.m., it's on silent. Once I get back and I know it's time to sleep, once it's past 11, I should start shutting down.
Have you ever had that issue, you being with your man and your phone is disturbing?
No, I don't let it do that. I don't appreciate distractions. I think it's rude that if I'm with you, you're with your phone. So if he is doing that, I'm like, okay, what's happening? I don't understand. Please, the phone will not die. The calls can wait. The text messages can be replied later. But sometimes we both will be on our phone.
No, I get that. I'm here, Madame is
Yes,
here.
both of us.
And we
are
look
like,
at each other, we're like this. And we
he
look at
himself
each other.
sometimes will drag my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, you too. Or sometimes if we deliberately go on dates, I'm like, your phone on silent and in the car, just so that we're not distracted.
There's something I do with, when we go jogging in the estate. I leave my phones at home. Normally, I used to go jogging with her, and she'll be jogging, and I'll be walking behind her, pressing my phone.
Hey.
So recently, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave the phone at home, and I found out that we had more time to talk. Deliberate on issues, discuss, and that was. Hello, madam.
How you guys
Hi,
doing?
beautiful.
When you guys are ready to eat, let me know.
Food is the most ready.
5 minutes?
Yes.
We're actually winding now. We're just gisting. Okay, so 5 minutes. Guys, Bamike, can I call you Bam?
Yes, you can, please.
Some people say, no, I don't know you like that. I'm BamBam.
Joe, please. My full name is Holuwabamike.
Holuwabamike. Do you speak Yoruba?
I try. They say I sound like I'm speaking Igbo, but then I still make a very conscious attempt.
I speak very good Yoruba.
Maybe we should speak Yoruba often. Maybe it
Yes.
will make my Yoruba strong.
Yes. Yes. And I can't wait for you to come with Oga and let's host him too. You know, let's nobody talks about religion. You see, the whole conversation is not about religion. But I wanted, if we're so religious in this country, why is it that we don't talk about what we carry on our head?
I can share my own view.
Please go ahead.
I believe that I'm a firm believer, and my fans know this. Actions are the reason why words mean nothing. Actions speak louder than words. I picked a few things from the good book that Jesus wrote. Love God with everything that you are, and then love your neighbor as yourself. See, if all of us that call ourselves Christians can just abide by that one principle and law that Christ, he said, 2 commandments with promise. That's love God with everything that you are, love your neighbor as yourself. If we can just obey that one first,
Yeah,
and be
fulfill the whole law.
religious about that one, we have fulfilled the whole law. That is huge on my, like, everything I do is influenced by my actions and my love for people.
Very beautiful. And I took that sermon to another level. You see, there's a clause. Jesus is so deep. It's just that we human beings are very shallow. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do you know what that means? It means if you don't love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. I'll give you an example. A suicide bomber who wants to kill himself. If he kills you, he's guilty before the world, but he's not, because that's the love he has for himself. He doesn't love himself. And we raise people who don't love themselves, and we try to make them love others, and what they do to others instead of love is hurt. Before
You can't give what you don't have.
you can't give what you don't have. And there's something so beautiful you said today. You didn't know you said it. I didn't want to go into a relationship because I wasn't sure where I was myself. That's the most profound relationship advice you have given to everyone listening today. And the reason why I find it so beautiful is because you didn't even know you were saying it. So it came natural. What did you do? You loved yourself. You found a way of loving yourself. Now that you've loved yourself, you can now transfer the energy of that love to other people to fulfill God's law. I wish volume.
Legit, man. I don't know what's happening.
I think it's time for food. Maybe there's no food. That's why
No.
there's
Are
volume.
they complaining about volume too?
Say audio, please.
Audio, please.
Volume, please.
Can I have? Let's face
I think
ourselves.
we should face ourselves.
Yes,
Hold it.
I think we.
Everything I do is influenced by my love.
Hello, everyone. All right. Okay.
Okay.
We're here with BamBam.
Oh dear goodness. No, but legit, everybody has to be one with themselves before they can be complete with anybody else.
That's right.
If you're not complete in yourself, you cannot add value to anybody. You would only keep taking and hurting in the process. So
Let me scold my people a little. You guys are here fighting.
if
We have the rare opportunity of having BamBam here. I'm learning. You see, I'm a Bible teacher, but I'm not a life coach as much as a Bible teacher. This lady you are seeing here is a life coach. She just doesn't know. She doesn't know her true calling. Because I'm about to give her offering.
Daddy Freeze
You know,
finished me off.
Look at people saying, God bless you, BamBam.
Oh,
It's better
I
now.
love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing Daddy Freeze have me.
You know.
See, please, people should stop underestimating Daddy Freeze and over analyzing and killing him for his honest views and sharing his own truth. There is no crime in having an opinion to life. As long as your opinion is a blessing to both you and those around you, it is okay to share them. But a lot of us are so judgmental and insecure because we are not trusting of ourselves enough
to want to share our own truth, we shouldn't criticize people who are bold enough to do so. So, he's an amazing human being. I'm so honored to be sat before and beside him.
Oh, that is so sweet. Some people are sending you
Hearts,
love and hearts. Someone saying, is prayer a tool to force God to grant prosperity? Let's take questions. Let's take questions from people.
No, it's not a tool to force God.
No. You see, what people don't understand is, maybe one day we have to sit down and preach this love yourself. When you love yourself, you work hard. Do you understand? Even me, for instance, I like a lot of junk food. And I see that as a problem because it's limiting my love for myself. Because if I genuinely love myself, I shouldn't take too much of this. I should work out every day. I'm starting to. So when you love yourself, you will be more hardworking. You will study more. The Bible says, study to find yourself approved. How many people read this book? You know, how many people read this book? We're allergic to this book, and because of that alone, our so-called men of God, without you realizing that in the New Testament we're all men of God. There's nobody with any. The disciples try to make it clear to us. One person has a gift of prophecy. One person has a gift of teaching. One person has a gift of speaking in tongues. Another person has a gift of wisdom. Another person has a gift of interpreting tongues. What does that mean? All of us have to come together in love and do the work of God together. But what we've done is we've taken one chairman and put him on the pulpit, and everybody does yes sir, yes sir, and at the end of the day you give him some money. You know, so we need to study to find ourselves approved, and we need to love one another.
The answer to prayer, I see prayer as communication with my Creator. So I have, the way you zoom the camera to my face, my Creator is God, and He knows me more than I know myself. And the best way I can feel His love, His presence, I pray. I don't see it, I share it. He's like my diary. That's how I relate with God. I just pour myself out to Him, and I'm grateful that He has already answered. But I don't do it because I want to force His hand. I do it because I see it as sharing. I love my dad. I mean, those who are close to me, in fact, it's even on my WhatsApp DP. I love my dad so much. And once I get the chance, we can speak on the phone for 2 hours, and I'm just listening about the most random stuff. Even my godmothers, once I am fond of you, I talk. So that's why I don't have, my circle is very small because I talk. So that is how I am with God. I love Him, and I am hurt, I share. I am happy, I share. I am confused, I share. I don't see it as a tool to force His hand to do anything. So that's my answer. They don't like my mouth. Is it because of my braces? It's braces, so.
One of my daughters just got out of braces like a month ago.
Amazing, very annoying.
But yours are even almost invisible.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's exactly like hers.
Is it the same one she got?
Yeah.
Ceramic ones?
No, but I think the color I picked.
Okay.
But you keep changing the colors regularly.
I don't really change my color. I've just had mine for about a month plus.
Yeah.
But it can be very uncomfortable.
I know. I know they have special toothbrushes and
Special everything. You can't eat so many things.
meat included. You told me. Oh, because I believe Banga goes best with goat meat.
I agree. Especially bush meat too. I completely agree.
Where do you get your bush meat from? When you were in Abuja, was there bush meat?
No, but when my dad travels to Ogun State,
What's the wildest thing you've ever eaten?
This I know it's called bush meat. I don't know what creature it is. It has buck teeth and it really has hair.
We've had crocodile,
What?
alligator, snake. As you're looking at these people, they've eaten snake, porcupine.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I'm not that adventurous with food. No. The wildest thing, I think it was jumping, they call it jumping chicken. The big frog in France.
Oh yes. Were you in France when you had it, or in a French restaurant in Nigeria?
France when I had it.
It tastes like chicken.
Yeah, no,
But it's
yeah,
frog.
It's really tender chicken, but
It's frog.
Or is it toad?
No, it's
Or
frog. It's frog. Frog
That's
legs.
only-
It's so nice. The French people eat everything
Yes,
from
they do.
duck liver to horse. Horse is particularly a delicacy.
Oh my God. Guys.
If you've eaten in France, you probably have eaten
I
horse.
wasn't a fan of French food. We still cook Nigerian food when we were in France.
How long were you in France?
3 years.
What happened?
We
Your
were
dad was
diplomats,
posted.
Yeah.
Oh, is he still a diplomat or he's
Well,
retired?
he's retired now, but yes, he was a diplomat. You're showing the dining chairs.
Sorry, I was just caught up in that. Okay, tell them to bring the food. Time for the taste buds.
Thank you, guys.
Some people are asking some very stupid questions. Yes. Let's take a couple of questions. Anyone who wants to ask
If
a
you guys
question?
have any questions, please bring it home.
Anyone has any question?
Someone say crocodile is actually really good.
Yeah.
You guys are so. Oh, thank you. Someone said I'm amazing.
Your people know. They always support you.
I think I'm beginning to love Daddy Freeze.
Who said that?
Somebody.
He has a point, but okay, he said he has a point, but the way he goes about it is the problem.
Everybody's method of communication can't be the
Yeah.
same. As long as you understand what the person is saying, that's what matters.
And some of us are a bit passionate about. I hate people because we're how do I put it? We're easily brainwashed. We look at you, for instance. You speak very well. All you need to do is put a collar and take offering. At the end of the day, that's what it's gonna boil down to. You know. So half the people there. Did you see that woman that was asking for $1,000 seeds? You know.
No comments. They never cease to amaze me. No jokes.
You know.
But
Tell them, are they bringing the food? Okay. So.
honestly, I had to stop. Okay, let me just go all out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really angry with the church because I was.
Did they? Okay, is this before Big Brother?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Way before.
Bring that camera closer.
Like I said, I was born into religion, and because I'm such a black and white person, like if I see flaky, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I start to get uncomfortable. Why can't you just be straightforward about what you're doing? Why can't you just do the needful? So I started to see a bit of that in the church system, and I said, this is supposed to be God's house, right? There are some things that shouldn't be accepted. There's some things that should be accepted. There are some things that shouldn't, like, I had so many questions, and when I couldn't get answers, I started to get restless and uncomfortable.
What were some of your questions?
I would rather not say any of them on camera because they are my opinions, right?
Okay.
I'm not yet confident enough to start to talk about them live. Once I grow big balls, I would talk about them like Daddy Freeze does. But
I don't know whether that's a compliment or
I don't have the balls to go about it now. But one thing that is unshakable is my love for God and understanding divinity, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I have had my personal relationship with them, and it's beautiful. So the fact that I can have that and it can't be taken away from me made me pull out. In all honesty, I haven't been associated with any denomination since I came out of the house. But when I'm in Abuja, I go to.
What church do you go to?
Like I said, I'm not associated with any denomination up until they.
So you pray by yourself.
I do everything at home.
You know, that's funny thing is that's Free Nation people know. We have an online church.
Okay.
In my opinion, building these elaborate buildings where people are suffering, you know, I find it a bit hypocritical. Why do you have such a big $2 billion building in a hood where people can't eat dinner? You know, so I try to encourage people to study more and find God themselves. Let your journey with God be a journey that is, you see, we're all spiritual and we're all spiritual beings. What religion does is it suppresses your spirit. It puts you in
A cage.
a cage. And God is a non-linear time, multi-dimensional
Ooh,
being.
you couldn't have said that any better. I call him a limitless God. Jehovah
Yes.
limitless. There's Jehovah so many things, but he's Jehovah limitless to me. He cannot be held down by time, space, or anything in this natural world. He's just phenomenal and limitless. And he is God. And Christ did say, greater things that I have done, ye would do. So why aren't we trying to tap into the greater things? Why are we so spellbound by the things that are already done by him?
I preached something on that. He said, we will do greater exploitations. Sorry, greater exploits. But what we're doing is greater exploitation. You know? I love your point. You're the perfect person to start off this series. You're the perfect person to start off this series because I'm sorry. I want to shake a table now. Celebrities generally are not renowned for their intelligence. Maybe they were intelligent before they became celebrities and they became dumbed down by the whole, because I've seen celebrity comments and I'm like, somebody needs to wake this person up. Or maybe because of the whole tramadol, codeine, that a lot of people are taking to be in a certain frame of mind, you know, or maybe the things they're saying, they're just, a lot of people are dumbed down just because of the life they live, when all that matters to you is a Gucci bag. And okay, you've got this Gucci bag, then you want LV, and all that matters to you now, then you want to get a Rolex. It's all material. You don't need to think much, you know. So when I see a famous person who thinks, I'm beyond impressed. I'm not even flattering you.
The burger is steaming. It's better to eat it now when it's cold. It's in the clay plates.
Okay.
Banga is in the clay plate, guys.
All right, guys. I think let's not stress BamBam anymore.
No, finish what you were saying.
So, I realized that celebs are very shallow, and I was like, okay, BamBam seems a bit deep, but I expected that. Okay, let's imagine all general celebrity depth is okay because of the celebrity depth is 40. I said maybe BamBam will be like 55. I didn't know BamBam was like 90. I didn't have a clue that I'm going to be sitting down with a woman that has her head screwed on, that understands maybe it was even the AC that was taking away the sound. Because I can all of a sudden hear myself clearer.
Real talk. No wonder when we're shooting movies, they
shut everything down. But I didn't want you to be uncomfortable.
I get you. You're so kind. Thank you.
So guys, it's time to eat.
Food.
So let's go. Oh, let me take over here.
Oh wow.
And let's see what Taste Buds has served.
They have pounded yam and fish and snails and all this yummy goodness going on here. This looks like my plate because I think you have meat and all that going on there. This has fish.
I think this is for you and
Oh, Motorio.
Motorai, all right?
Thank you so much.
So, guys, I'm going to call Taste Buds. She's going to tell us what she cooked. Call Taste Buds for me. And I think I like the clay pots.
I love them.
When they serve me, they don't serve me like this.
Well.
I need to go into the Big Brother house and come right back.
You want Mama to introduce the food?
Somebody said yes. No, you guys can start eating. I wouldn't want to show you. Somebody said bye, BamBam.
Somebody's asking what's the difference between a religious and a spiritual person.
BamBam, I think you can answer that. I think you're right.
For me, a religious person just does what they're told to do.
All right, the beautiful Taste Buds.
Yes.
So, what exactly is this? Tell us all about it.
Okay, this is Banga soup.
Yes.
Seafood Banga soup with catfish, prawns, snails, and my favorite Asa dry fish, and some pounded yam. So it's served in this clay pots. So you can actually bring it out steaming, you know. So you have it hot throughout the entire period you're eating the food.
Yes.
So that's how it's served in Delta State. My mom is Delta, by the way. So that's how they eat banga in my mom's village.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
So BamBam, I hope you enjoy our banga.
Yes, I will.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm so honored.
Let me quickly take. Okay, guys,
This
gotta
man
run. Love you
Make
all.
sure that his wife pounded yam.
This is
As in,
a
this is
real
hand pounded
banga.
yam. It's not
Pounded
powder.
yam.
And catfish. I will post the picture of the catfish process.
You sent it to her.
I sent it to her.
No, you're far too kind.
I came
Thank
to
you
the
so
kitchen,
much.
was like, did you buy the catfish? I said, yes. And they said, where's the catfish? Where's the catfish? So that was what you were up to.
That's what I had to show her that look. This is
We
not
are
just.
preparing,
This is not
no.
restaurant food.
I tell you. I can't wait to dig
Okay,
in.
guys, bye.
Bye guys, I love you. I'm about to eat. We'll come back and continue this discussion later because I'm enjoying myself.
Anyhow you want it. Okay.